Hello and welcome to Glitz Diaries. Now, I'm excited to chat with this fashion, lifestyle, and fitness content creator based in Singapore, Michelle Tan. 12 years ago, she chose a brave and uncharted path, entering content creation at a time when it was still new and unconventional in Asian society. Fast forward to today, after years of grind, she built an impressive career collaborating with some of the biggest names in the fashion industry, including Fenty, L'Oreal, Adidas, to name a few. I explore with her the world of influencers and content creators up close. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome to Reset Diaries. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Ashtar. I'm very excited.
Yes, me too. I have a lot of questions for you. So let's unpack.
Shoot them my way.
All right, Michelle. So, can you take us back? What made you pursue this path of content creation and influencer after the university? And more importantly, I'm also curious to understand what was the reaction of your friends, family, and society at large back then?
Okay, it actually all started from just having a very special part-time job. Okay, I was doing this part-time when I was doing my pre-uni education, and I basically joined a small local YouTube channel back then that focuses on comedy acting. I didn't expect anything big to come out of it, but the channel blew up to be one of the top 3 in Singapore, and then overnight we all became internet personalities. So I guess it's a bit, I didn't really explain anything to my friends and family. They eventually realized that they are seeing me on screen. When I was a student, my parents didn't really question me much. I think they thought that this was never going to be my full-time job. But when I graduated and decided to pursue this full-time, I think for a few months straight, they were asking me, what am I doing with my life? They couldn't really understand how I make a living out of it. That was a very new industry back then as well. I try my best to explain to them. I think over time, when they realized I could fully support myself, they slowly released the handbrake.
I like it.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
They had so much resistance back then. And then for my friends, I think I like the fact that they grew up with me, they know who I am, and they saw that it has never really changed who I am as a person. It was also very new to them. They were also very young back then.
Yeah.
Now as adults, they do try to ask me here and there more about the industry. How do we make money from it? And they try to understand, the difficulties that I face. Like, I don't really tell them only just the glamorous stuff. They have already seen it enough online. Yeah, so that's how I help them to better understand the industry.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And you hit the right spot by saying that there's so much misinformation because often we just see the glamorous part of it, but I'm sure there's a lot of hard work that goes behind. And that's exactly our purpose is here to understand what goes behind the scenes. All right. So now, in Reset Diaries, we often talk about life pivots. So was there a specific moment where you decided to change the trajectory of your content creation that, okay, maybe I've done enough of this, let's pivot to something new? Can you talk about that?
I feel like in the past I was very beauty focused. I did a lot of like strictly cosmetic and skincare related content. But that was also because I knew that, and I'm good at it. I knew that the beauty industry is the biggest.
Mm.
And as an ex performer of 17 years, I've been doing a lot of stage makeup. That's where I got my makeup skills from. And then recently, I pivoted towards a lot of fitness related content. Very recently, I did the High Rocks race for the very first time.
I've seen you putting hard work for that. And
Yeah, we spoke about it, right? I told you right away. Ashta, do it. It's so manageable. I think the thing about doing something like this is I felt that it was very helpful in my career as well, because I think for a long time people saw me as this very glamorous beauty girl, and they never ever expected me to do something so rough and difficult, for the lack of better words. Yeah, High Rocks is really not easy. For those of you who don't know, just for a context, High Rocks is a functional training kind of race. You do 8 functional exercises, and then in between you run 1 kilometers each. how usually in the gym you are very used to working out for 45 minutes or an hour max, but this one forces you to work out double the time. So it's really pushing on your body's tolerance and endurance. So for me, the training was really, really tough. I was never a runner for a start. I hate running so much that I nearly cried the first time my trainer took me for a 5 kilometers run. It was painful. Yeah, and then so having accomplished such a race, I think it just helps to spread a very important message among women. Anyone can do it. And
Yeah.
it also helped me foster a better relationship with myself. I've always wanted to include fitness in my content, but I don't know how to because people are so used to my beauty content. But the truth is I do work out a lot in my offline. Yeah, you see me a lot.
Vouch for that you see this demure, petite looking woman, but when you see her in the gym, she's like, so in that mode as well. And I must tell this to you, Michelle, when I first saw you initially in the gym, I used to think you are very uptight and, very reserved in your own. But I was so wrong in my judgment about you. Once we started talking, I realized you are such a fun person and such a bundle of positive energy. And you really lift not just yourself, but you also pump up others. But coming back to what you said about your beginning as a beauty influencer, and you said beauty industry is huge. So do you mean in terms of money or the opportunities it's more?
Definitely both. Yeah, I
Okay.
refer to, yeah. I would say beauty influencers make the most money in the
Okay.
industry. So I don't want to stray away from beauty. I'm glad that I've done High Rocks now. I can tie my two passions together now. So that's great. I think the beautiful thing about content creation is you can start anytime and you can do it throughout your life because your life is always changing, right? We are always changing. Yeah, there are so many new chapters. It's like storytelling.
You're very right in saying that it's a storytelling and in live chapters get added. So that's how you decided to intentionally pivot towards fitness also and inspire other women to do so.
I started fitness when I was actually in a very low point in my life, in my mid 20s, when I actually decided to just leave my previous company and just feeling lost, like a bit like quarter life crisis back then. Just graduated, decided to leave an agency. As a content creator, having an agency is like working for a company basically. You are more covered. You have people pitching for you, getting jobs for you, making sure you get paid, protecting you basically. But if you decide to go solo, you are wearing all these hats by yourself. And I was so young back then, I don't know a lot of things. My company also had a lot of market power. I was just scared. Like now looking back, it's like, wow. Yeah. So I was just scared how life's gonna be like, but I know it. I have a fire inside of me. I want to do this. I just feel like I could do it. Like how sometimes like how you can do this podcast thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know what I want and I know what I don't want. So I went through like this entire 6 months of just not sending out any resumes. And my boyfriend would drag me to the gym. He's like, let me help you snap out of this. And I've never stopped exercising since then. Like it's been a good 7 years. Yeah.
Wow.
So fitness was incorporated into my life at a very unexpected timing, and it really got me out of my rut, and I just cannot see my life.
Yeah, once you get hooked, it's very difficult. It's as good as like brushing your teeth every morning.
Yes,
You have to go.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, Michelle, let's talk a little bit about agencies. You touched upon it. So, for a common layman who doesn't know how does it operate, you said there are two models. Either you operate solo, means my understanding is you hunt for work yourself and whatever you earn is all yours. And when you are attached to an agency, is it like on commission basis? How does it work?
When you're attached to an agency, they usually take a cut of about 20 to 30% of your earning. For individuals, freelancers, you earn everything yourself. But the downside is you have to pitch for jobs yourself, or you have to wait for brands to find you.
Right. Let me ask this thing. Now you are at that stage where how much marketing you do for your work or clients or brands just come to you? How does it work typically if you have to split in the ratio? Is it 50-50 or how does it work?
I would say more on brands coming to me, and then a small part is when I pitch myself, be it during like meetings or like when I attend events. Okay, that's when I represent myself. Yeah, but I'm part of the earlier batch of content creators, so I have first mover advantage. So brands kind of know, these old names in the industry.
Right.
Yeah, but I think many of you may not know that the content creation industry is so competitive now. There are like new waves every single day. Even when I go to events, I get reminded of how much older I am. You would just make acquaintance with like an 18-year-old, and I'm like, oh, yeah, yes. Some of them are this young, and when you're competing with such young creators, they are willing to accept a way low worth fee. That's competition for you, and also marketing for yourself also means how do you brand yourself through your organic content that's like posted on non-campaign days. Yeah, which is why we are like constantly posting. Yeah.
How many posts a day you make typically?
I'll do like at least 6 IG stories.
Okay.
And then like one in-feed post. It can be a picture or it can be an IG reel.
Your main content out of all the social media channels, which one is your topmost?
Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have a quiet YouTube channel where I vlog about my life.
So these two mediums have been most effective for your growth. And then it's interesting you said that the younger competition that you meet, it's so hard to set yourself against them because they are willing to accept much lower fees. So in those scenarios, how do you keep your content refreshed? Is there anything that you very intentionally apply that, okay, this is how I differentiate myself from the pool of the other beauty fitness influencers?
Yeah, I think when it comes to beauty, it's such a big umbrella term. So the good thing is anyone can define beauty, by being uniquely themselves. So I try to remain uniquely myself as much as I can. I think I forgot how I look like with brunette hair. I've been blonde since the day I started. Yeah, but honestly, interestingly, something so small like hair color can affect whether you get chosen for a campaign.
Okay.
Yeah, which is why I bring it up. Like, yeah, because blonde is associated with a certain type of personality. Yeah.
Okay.
And beauty, a lot of them, they have very specific branding. Yeah. And also my tan skin is another thing. So obviously when you're younger, your sense of self is just not there yet.
Yeah.
And I did ever consider like, should I darken my hair, stay out of the sun,
Right.
so I am more marketable? But I've decided that it's gonna be so uncomfortable for me. I think that the hardest thing is to be someone you're not.
That's true.
And then so I decided to just stay true to who I am. But obviously competition is always gonna come in. You can never stop competitions. Just keep swimming, man.
Yeah.
I think what's challenging is a lot of my audience, which is around 25 to 35 years old. A lot of them are actually already married and even became a mom. I am still not either or, and I often worry whether they can relate to me because I'm not in the same life stage as them. But should I rush into it just so I'm more relatable? I don't want to. Yeah, I think it's silly.
Like I have seen these stories of content creators going to extreme lengths to just, do anything.
Make themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if it's farce, but they do it for the face of it.
Yes, yeah, I think the current state that I'm in is actually the most challenging because you are not old enough to promote super anti-aging products. You are not very, very young to do the very Gen Z targeted kind of products. Yeah. So yeah, the middle ground is always a bit like of a gray area, but I tell myself to just keep going. Obviously, it's not all glamorous.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a freelancer. There are definitely months where I don't make as much money, and there are months where I make a lot of money. But that's the freelancer life. If you want to be a freelancer, this is what you're signing up for, which is why you need to manage your finance really well. You need to be disciplined. You need to have a plan. Yeah.
So what are your peak periods in a calendar year? Which are your peak earning periods and which are your dull periods? Are they fixed or they keep changing? How does it work?
I think when there's Chinese New Year, there's like, Valentine's Day, summer is coming, Christmas, like end of year. These
Right.
are very busy periods. The rest is it can be pretty quiet. Yeah.
Right. But has it ever happened that you have to reject something because the money is great, but something didn't align with you in terms of value or in terms of brand? Have you ever rejected anything like that?
Of course. Yes, I have. I still remember like quite recently I rejected like a brand that asked me to do live stream on TikTok. I went to their company website and I'm just not very sure of the products and I don't want to be selling something that someone's putting on their face on the live stream and I just had zero background and I'm not too sure like they pride themselves as being very viral and popular
Mm-hmm.
in their own countries. But I'm just like, I don't know. You always have to split. There's a balance like morals and money.
So how much responsibility as a content creator you feel towards your audience? Do you feel that whatever you put your name against has to
Oh
be
yes, I feel so much. I think maybe like that's why I wouldn't say I'm the top earning. But I'm also not saying that the top earning ones has no morals or whatsoever. I think I always tell myself young girls are watching me. Like when I was younger watching people online, it's the same thing. I take whatever they say very seriously. And I'm really huge on like just nourishing the young souls properly, parenting them well, like growing up can be such a lonely journey and confusing journey. So I always tell myself like whatever I say or do online holds a lot of weight, even though I may not know.
Right.
I try my best to only spread the right messages.
Okay. So, okay, Michelle, now let's talk about how does a typical day look like for you when you are creating content and marketing, negotiation? What do you do typically?
Okay, for example, today I have a morning podcast recording with you. After this, I'm rushing for 2 hours of live stream on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then after that, I will maybe attend an event or two where I market and network.
Okay.
And then in between, I need to find time to reply to emails and DMs and WhatsApp because that's where my clients contact me. And then some days I meet up with my assistants to polish up certain content that we film, edit it, look at it, do some content planning. And then somehow in the day, I will find time for the gym.
That is non-negotiable.
Yeah, it's a non-negotiable. I need my time for the gym. Like I have sacrificed gym for work before and I've become so angry at myself. I'm like, it's not worth it. Gym is so important to me for me to perform better actually. But day to day it can really look very different. I think the beauty about this job is it's very different every day. The challenging part about this job is I started when it was so new, so I have no mentor to tell me what to do. Even till today, when there are certain things, when I'm lost, I don't know who to look for. A lot of things I have to figure out on my own. And it's also really hard to ask like fellow industry friends because everyone's just so like uptight. So can I borrow your words? Because I think because it's so competitive that everyone is like on survival mode. Yeah.
Okay. But then how do you market yourself? I'm just curious, do you refer to your portfolios or do you refer to some numbers?
Well, typically your numbers are actually already on your profile. So if anyone wants to know
What numbers are looked at when a
like the likes, the comments and the shares of your content, like if a brand wants to know more about certain metrics like hey, the demographics of your audience, the age group, the gender split, then you can send it across.
Okay.
But generally, a lot of companies, they have software that they can run to find out about these kind of things. Yeah. I would say only quite a small percentage of brands will ask for certain metrics. A lot of times, brands already know
Okay.
what they are looking for. Or you have something called the media kit, which is what I just told you, but in a PDF form.
Okay.
For you to send out to brands.
Media kit.
It's like a media kit, yes.
Okay. What are some of the numbers that you stay on top of every day? Is there something that you check every morning when you get up?
Yeah, I'll go to my profile and see how well my content perform. Obviously, I wish I don't tell you that I don't care about how many people like share my content. Unfortunately, I have to care because these are
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
stats.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I need good stats to earn money. Yeah, and I did go through a period where I tied a lot of self identity, self worth to these metrics. It was it was a very anxious time for me. Yeah, but I've since lose that attachment, so that's good. Now we can
Okay.
joke about it. So yes, these are some of the things that I go through as a content creator, or like growing up in my 20s in this industry.
Okay. Also, Michelle, I'm curious to know about the negotiation bit. Does that happen, or it's like a very
Of course.
flat fee, take it or reject it? How does it work?
Yes, it does happen. A lot of times brands approach you, they will tell you, I have this campaign, are you keen? I'm looking for these deliverables, maybe one IG story, two IG posts, and then one IG reel. Can you quote me?
Okay.
You know? And then you will quote them, and then they might come back and tell you, I only have this much budget.
Mm.
Yeah, can you take it? You know? There's a lot of negotiation.
Everything? What does the budget include for them? Does it include?
I think every brand sets aside certain portion of marketing funds per year or per campaign, and they try to split it among as many influencers as possible to get as much engagement and reach as possible. It depends on their KPI. Yeah.
But
So if they can, if they can engage you on a smaller budget, means that they can engage maybe one more influencer. Yeah.
okay, and let's talk about criticism or negativity on social media. I know I've seen one of your podcasts where you have very openly spoke about your mental health. I want to understand, how do you handle that, or what's your coping mechanism?
I definitely go for therapy.
Okay.
I hate comment, but not for hate comments, to be honest. I think hate comments is something that because I've been in the industry for so long, I'm almost like desensitized to it. If someone comes forward and say something nasty, but I must say that I'm pretty lucky that I don't get as much
Okay.
as compared to like some people I know, and when I do get there, I just tell, obviously your body will feel a certain way, like going to like a and what I try to do is that try don't continue sitting down. I snap out of it, like go out of work, or go for a walk, or like watch something, like just snap out of it and not sit there and stare at that content and like ruminate. At the end of the day, this is someone who hides behind an anonymous account trying to hurt you. They are not someone in your life.
Right.
If you want to put yourself online, you have to be okay with being visible, with being perceived, and everyone's going to have some sort of judgment towards you, some sort of opinion. It's just that this person decided to write it down. It's always going to be there. And yeah, it does not define who you are at all. If they are constructive, great, thank you. I will improve. But if they are not, just okay, next. The
Right.
only way is to just move on and not give them the response that they want.
Right.
Yeah.
But what about the positive? Like, has there been a heartwarming comment that you received which really made you feel, oh my God,
Yes.
I'm doing such a good thing?
I have this folder in my phone that says like, okay, when you're sad, you open this folder because inside is filled with nice comments from strangers on the internet. Like when people tell me, oh, I thank you so much for being so open about your mental health. I don't feel so alone. I can relate to this thing that you talk about. Yeah, things like that. Yeah, of course, there are many, many nice ones. I try to, keep that in a little folder
That's
to
cute.
keep me going.
That's important. Yeah. So let's do a little icebreaker, Michelle.
Mm.
So, what's one thing people would be surprised to find out about you?
That I can speak Mandarin very well.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, you seem surprised, so that's great. Yeah, a lot of people think that I'm better in English, but I actually grew up speaking Mandarin.
See?
Yeah, so when I use my Mandarin, people get quite shocked, quite surprised.
I have rarely come across young Singaporeans who can speak good Mandarin. Mostly I see everybody talking in English only. So I'm surprised that you say that you can speak good Mandarin.
Yeah, it's something I really don't want to lose. That's why I always watch Chinese shows, practice speaking Mandarin. I really want my kids to be able to speak Mandarin.
Why is it important for you, if I may ask?
Yeah, because we are Chinese. That's our roots. And I think Mandarin is such a helpful language. And yeah, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew RIP. pride us on being bilingual. So yeah, so I hope my kids can be bilingual like I am.
Nice. Okay, if I were to ask you, you could collaborate with any brand right now. What is your dream brand?
I'm still manifesting for the day I get to work with Apple.
Oh, I hope your dream come true soon.
Yes,
All
thank you.
right. And which are your top 3 social media accounts that you follow? Let's say Singapore or Southeast Asia.
It would be all my industry friends. I
Okay.
think they are all like really like inspirations for me, especially those who have experienced like a huge growth. Interestingly, I went to High Rocks with one of my industry friends, and I think like I've known her for like 10 years now, and I just never had a chance to tell her, you are so good at what you do, and I'm very proud of your growth. So I finally got to tell her that personally, and I think that's nice. That's something that I want to see more in the industry. Just us uplifting each other, because when we unite, we are very, very powerful.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Okay. And Michelle, I still have a couple of questions before we finish this. Now, I want to ask you that you said that it's a very lonely journey. So, what is the biggest struggle in your job?
Yes. The biggest struggle would be having to figure out a lot of things on your own. So that's the business side. Okay, emotionally wise, I grew up as a very anxious child. And when I first started, didn't know the art of reading and managing people. You know, it's something that we learn in adulthood, learning how to read people. Yeah, and a lot of times maybe I have misunderstood intentions, or I got myself misunderstood. Yeah, and that just created more anxiety in me. Yeah, I think it's an art to navigate in the media industry.
Mm.
You need to know like which relationship is transactional, which relationship is personal. That is something that I struggle a lot, and obviously have made a lot of mistakes as well. But I think that's growing up, isn't it? Yeah. One thing that I've never ever told anyone, and
Wow.
that's very difficult for me, even
Yeah.
till today.
So that to understand which relationship is transactional and which is personal, I think it's hard for everyone, and especially for your industry where you're meeting, I don't know, maybe 20 odd people every day. So you have
Yeah.
to really draw those boundaries
Yes.
that what is what.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of gray area as well. So you really need to know how to master it.
Okay. Is there any common misconception about influencers that you would like to clear here in this episode?
I think one common one that people see is that an influencer's job is very easy, and that just to take pictures and videos online. No, because I have basically just covered a lot of things that we need to do.
Yeah.
You have business stress and you have emotional stress. I'm sure that applies for all jobs. I'm very sure. But this is a very special journey where, like you said, we meet a lot of people. You need to really critically think about a lot of things. The pictures and the videos, yes, you can post them. But how do you ensure that you are relatable to someone? How do you storytell? It's all an art, creative art. Yeah. It's just not just snapping pictures anymore. Audience are now smarter. How do you spread the message that you're intending to spread? How do you reach the target audience? All these are like things that you need to think about. And there's a lot of trial and error that goes into it, studying the numbers, data basically. And yeah, it can be a very stressful job. A lot of us work alone. A lot of us don't have a team yet. Yeah, so you need to take good care of yourself, especially your mental and physical health, which is why gymming is a non-negotiable for me. Regular therapy as well. Yeah, and also fostering current relationships that I have in my life, like my support system. That is so important.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. I was reading that it's no longer just about taking the pictures, but it's a lot about who the person is behind this picture. I think the industry is very mature now. People are no longer just impressed by those good pictures, but also who is this person? What are their values? How are
Yeah.
they connect.
What's that story, you know? Yeah, the storytelling. Content creation is all about storytelling.
Where do you get the ideas that I'm going to do like this, or I'm going to shoot like this, or I'm going to record like? What's your creative process?
Okay, like recently I had a booth, right, at F1, F&B booth with selling pizzas. Okay, so I had one content person, my assistant, that comes and help us take content. But her job is just to take content. I'm still the creative director, right? And I have to, on the spot, despite people screaming left, right, upside down for orders and customers angry waiting for their food, I have to think, how are we going to storytell this entire 3 days of hard. So I broke it down into 3 days. First day I told her just do the setup. Okay, very nice. Everything is clean and in order. And then second day, please go and shoot the chaos.
Okay.
I told her the chaos in the kitchen, the chaos in the front of house,
Okay.
especially during rate peak hours.
Right.
Yeah. And then thirdly, I said I want to show appreciation to all our staff. So can you please take a very nice photo of each of them in action? Because each one has a very specific role. I think this way people not just see the glamorous side, they also see the truth behind a kitchen. Yeah, you just always have to play around. Like for example, when I go to the gym, I cannot just film me doing workout. People who don't work out, they cannot relate to it. They won't be interested. People won't view it. Although you look very hot during the workout, they won't care. But they care about what working out means to you. Why is it that you find the motivation and discipline to do it? You know?
Right.
Yeah. So it's about how you storytell. Then I can say, yes, even though I look like this, you know. But the reason why I feel confident looking like this is because gym gives me confidence. Gym built my mental endurance. I can handle tough things, not in the gym, but also in life.
True.
That is why I'm a confident person. I'm confident not because I wear makeup, you know? Things like that. You need to think about how you can spread a message.
Love it. And what have you gathered from your experience, that what does audience want typically? Does it keep changing the kind of content which is in demand, or there's like something which is always in demand? What do you think? How has society also evolved in terms of what kind of content they want?
Yeah, I think previously people care a lot about very curated content. So obviously your beautiful pictures and videos will get you views. But I think now it's more about really, like what I said, storytelling, relatability. That how can I as an audience relate to just your story? I'm not interested in your glamorous life. You know, I'm interested in the story behind it. The
Right.
person that you are behind your content.
True.
Yeah. And but Instagram is still a very curated platform. So it's a little bit hard to, you know, to show that side, because at the end of the day, people want to see pretty things on Instagram while being able to relate to you.
Yes.
That is the art we're trying to, you know, perfect.
Yeah.
That is why platforms like YouTube and TikTok are really, really good to have as well as a content creator, because you can kind of be a raw version of yourself there. So there's a good balance.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you film raw content for TikTok and little more curated?
I think a lot more, I think my TikTok is more like a lot of beauty stuff, because beauty videos can go really viral there.
I love it that you are admitting it so candidly and honestly that it's still a curated version of what you're presenting to your audience on Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. I have to be very honest here.
Towards the end, Michelle, I want to ask you, where do you see yourself and your brand headed towards next 2 years, 5 years? What's your biggest audacious goal for yourself?
I am definitely going to be a wife and a mother by then. I mean, I'm very excited about it. It's so funny because when I was in my 20s, I'm in a long-term relationship for like a decade now. So I had the option of getting married young, since I was already in the relationship for X amount of years.
Yeah.
I know quite very sure that I wasn't ready back then. But if I had hopped onto the train, I would have been a momfluencer. But I wasn't ready and I wouldn't be passionate about it. Like, you know, but now I have reached the stage where I see kids and it excites me and I cannot wait to have my own. Yeah. So hopefully, yeah, that's where I'm headed to.
Influencer.
Yes. I've been consuming a lot of parenting content. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Fit mom.
Fit mom, yeah. Bring your child to gym day. Start them young. Yeah. I guess that's where I'll be headed to. You'll see my family a lot more.
I love
Yeah.
it. You are so honest, and I was not expecting this answer. I was thinking you would say, I want to collaborate with Chanel or Hermes or Apple, but yeah, I'm surprised.
Oh no, and then I said something so candidly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's your honesty, and I think that's why people relate to you. So,
Yes, I cannot wait to recommend breast pumps.
well, this was lovely chat, Michelle. I learned so much about your world because I was very curious. What do these influencers do? I'm sure it's not easy. No job is easy. And this one would be even harder operating as a lone wolf, looking for work, marketing yourself, negotiating the price, and everything.
Yeah, being your own agent.
Mm.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.